after Giants postgame live.
All right, we'll check you out then, Jamie. And Mike Singletary is a man of faith, so he's going with Alex Smith. Of course, a man of faith, was a pretty good quarterback of the Niners way back when. Was he the great-grandson of Brigham Young? I think Steve Young was.
That's right.
Is that correct? Derek Andersen is here, the CEO and producer of a brand-new sports app game coming out tomorrow called Steve Young Football that we can play on our iPad and our iPhone. Welcome to Chronicle Live, first of all. And what is Steve Young Football going to be, Derek?
Yeah, well, Steve, basically when we looked at developing on the iPad and the iPhone, you know, we see all these games that, you know, are very simple and very fun. And we're all big sports fans, and so, you know, big fans of Steve Young at that. And we basically try to combine all the fun and simple gameplay mechanics that you see on the iPhone that make the iPhone such a great gaming platform, and combine that with our love of sports. And so, you know, that's basically the premise for what Steve Young Football is.
Now, you worked at EA Sports before, helped create Madden Football. So seeing this online a little bit, this is the anti-Madden game, where it's so complicated to play Madden, you almost have to let them call the plays, let John pick the formation, because it's so involved. This is football. It's in the simplest form. It's almost going back to the days of the electronic football where the table would shake a little bit and just flicking football in study hall kind of a feel.
That's exactly right. I mean, the basic premise of the game was paper football, was that game that you grew up playing in middle school. And I think, you know, gaming has evolved to a point where there are these games that are so difficult that really do take years and years to master, like Madden. And I think what the iPhone has done and the iPad have done is it's brought us back to those things that we loved, you know, the gaming that we loved in the 80s and when gaming first started, which was just pure, simple fun. And so we basically taken that flick football mechanic and combined that with, you know, with other things, where basically the premise of the game is that you throw Steve into the end zone. Of course, he's trying to score touchdowns.
So Steve is the quarterback for both teams?
Steve is the everything. He's our guy. And, you know, we put Steve in these kind of precarious situations. You know, as your audience will know, Steve Young was known for being this dynamic running quarterback. Before Michael Vick, before Vince Young, there was Steve Young.
I love the word.
And, you know, we've tried to bring that out and throw things at Steve where he has to avoid tornadoes, he has to avoid these wild pigs, you know, that are kind of on the revenge of their ancestors being, you know, used as pigskins all those years. And we have other things. We have, you know, bombs and mines and you know, Steve's a great sport. You know, he's a very entrepreneurial guy, and he gave us some creative leeway on this and really contributed to making this the final product.
I always thought Steve would be the governor of Utah first and the president of the United States, and now he's trying to avoid the wild boars. But how involved is he in the actual making and development of the game? Because Steve's the kind of guy, if he gets into something, he's jumping in with both feet.
He's heavily involved. I mean, something about Steve is that he really, I mean, since his playing career ended, you know, he's been involved in hedge funds, he's been involved in products, he's got other projects that he's working on. So he just tries a lot of different things. And Steve, in terms of this game, you know, immediately when we met with him, he said, well, I'd love to do it, but I'm going to donate everything I make to my charity, the Forever Young Foundation. And this is something he's promoted and you know, founded 15 years ago. It helps children across the world. And, you know, that really motivated us to say, hey, you know, this isn't just a game. You know, this is really going to a great cause, and to see Steve, you know, really put that backing into it really showed, I think, a lot about him and, you know, the type of person that he is.
Available tomorrow in the App Store, Steve Young Football app for iPad, and I just got mine. It is fun. I can't wait to get this, and iPhone as well. Derek, the best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.